Sat Nam. I'm Dr. Julie Staples, Guru Prakashkar, and this is ICTA's Teaching for Teachers. I am a researcher in mind-body medicine, and I've done research on Kundalini Yoga for post-traumatic stress, PTSD. I've also written a book, which will be coming out in May of 2018. It's called Reclaiming Life After Trauma, and it's about Kundalini Yoga and cognitive behavioral therapy for trauma. I'm a faculty member of the Guru Ram Dass Center for Medicine and Humanology. And I'm here today to talk to you about research on Kundalini Yoga for PTSD. As yoga teachers, we like to bring our work out into the world, and it's nice to be able to speak authoritatively to the people who are the decision makers in organizations where we might want to teach. And sometimes we just need to know more about the research in order to do that. So the information I'm going to present today will help you be more confident and understand the research that's been done on yoga for PTSD. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. As you may know, it has several different kinds of symptoms, symptom clusters. And one of those symptoms is hyperarousal, which is manifested by lack of ability to sleep or problems with sleep. Another symptom is having intrusive thoughts or re-experiencing of the traumatic event. There's also avoidance of reminders of things that remind us about the event. And finally, the last symptom is negative thoughts or emotions. So yoga, Kundalini Yoga specifically, has been shown to reduce these symptoms of post-traumatic stress. There have been 3 studies on Kundalini Yoga for post-traumatic stress, and the protocol for these studies was developed by Dr. Shanti Kaur of the Guru Ram Dass Center for Medicine and Humanology. She's the director, and it's an 8-week protocol which has Kundalini Yoga sets and meditations, and the sets and meditations are basically there's not new material introduced every week. It's a flow where people will repeat the same sets and meditations so that they have a chance to integrate the teachings. So new material is brought in gradually. And the course, like I said, it's 8 weeks, and the 3 research studies that have been done have included this protocol. So the first 2 studies were done by Dr. Farah Jandani and her colleagues in Toronto. And the first study that she did was a randomized control study. And randomized control studies are considered the gold standard of research. So this is a good quality study. There were 80 people in that study. 40 of the people did the Kundalini Yoga program, and the other 40 did not, at least not initially. They were the control group. They may have done it after the study was over. And what this group measured in the research was that there was a significant decrease in PTSD symptoms and insomnia. There was a decrease in perceived stress, an improvement in mood, an improvement in resilience, and a decrease in anxiety in the people that did the Kundalini Yoga protocol. So these were some really great results showing that Kundalini Yoga can help people with PTSD in a variety of ways and decrease their PTSD symptoms. The second study that was done by Dr. Jandani's group used the same group of people who had participated in the first study in the yoga program. And this study was a qualitative study or a descriptive study. And so people were interviewed in order to see how they felt about participating in the program, and they could talk about that in their own words. And what they found was that people reported feelings of enhanced wellness, and they also started to develop new habits of self-reflection, which gave them a heightened state of awareness of their body, mind, and emotions. Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness. This doesn't surprise us. They had greater mental clarity, and they also had reported that they were doing better self-care and had higher levels of self-esteem. The third study that was done for Kundalini Yoga and post-traumatic stress was done by me and my colleagues here in New Mexico. This was a study that used the Kundalini Yoga protocol and cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is a standard treatment for post-traumatic stress, and CBT is it's based on the principle that our thoughts drive our emotions, so that if we can look at the distortions in our thoughts, I should say, and be able to adjust our thought patterns, then we can have a more positive effect on our emotions. So the protocol, again, was not combining CBT with Kundalini Yoga, but rather doing an hour and a half of a group therapy of cognitive behavioral therapy, followed by a little break, and then an hour and a half of the Kundalini Yoga. So there were 26 people in this study, and what we measured took measurements before, after, and at a 3-month follow-up. And what we saw were significant improvements in post-traumatic stress symptoms, as well as an improvement in sleep. And the really nice thing was that these improvements were maintained at the 3-month follow-up, so people continued to be better 3 months after the program. We also wanted to see what the effects were on the home assignment, because all of the Kundalini yoga protocols, the Kundalini yoga protocol stresses the home practice, and so we wanted to see how home practice would affect the results. So what we did was looked at the amount of home practice and the results and to see if there was any correlation. And we did see a significant correlation with the improvement in sleep and the amount of Kundalini yoga meditation that the participants did. So those were the 3 studies on Kundalini yoga for post-traumatic stress. And there have also been other studies done on yoga for post-traumatic stress from other traditions, including a couple of randomized control studies. So now I'd like to switch gears and talk to you a little bit about how yoga works for relieving PTSD symptoms or improving PTSD symptoms. There are a lot of parts of the body and the brain that are affected by PTSD. And what seems to happen is that yoga has the effect of balancing, bringing these more into a balance, or almost reversing the changes, the problems that occur during PTSD. So for example, the hippocampus is a part of the brain that plays a role in memory. And in people with PTSD, the hippocampus is shrunken down, it's smaller. And there have been studies to show that an 8-week meditation program will actually increase the size of the hippocampus. So this is a change that happens as a result of doing meditation. Also, the amygdala, which is part of the brain that is responsible for memory, processing emotions and traumatic memory, is overactive during PTSD. And there's been a study that's been shown that a chanting meditation will actually decrease the activity of the amygdala. Finally, there's things like neurotransmitters like GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, which is a neurotransmitter which produces a calming effect. And that level is low in people with PTSD, and it's been shown that yoga can increase the levels of GABA. So yoga also affects other systems as well as such in PTSD, such as the immune system. In PTSD, the immune system tends to be in a more inflamed state, a more inflammatory state. And there's been lots of studies that have shown that yoga reduces the state of inflammation. It reduces what we call these pro-inflammatory cytokines, these proteins in the blood that cause an inflammatory state. So there are many ways in which yoga may reduce the symptoms of PTSD. Now, these studies have not been done on people with PTSD. In other words, they've been looking at the effects of yoga on healthy individuals. But the fact that these changes occur during PTSD and yoga seems to reverse or balance out these changes, and yoga improves the symptoms of PTSD, suggests that these may be some of the mechanisms on how yoga helps PTSD. As Kundalini yoga teachers, we know that yoga works. We know the benefits, and it's been taught to us in the yogic teachings for years. The science is now supporting these teachings and also giving us more information on how yoga works. So I hope you found this information insightful and inspiring. Sat Nam.